What's up, Chin Gang? It's Chin here, and thank you so much for joining me in yet another video. I'm just like, wow, I cannot believe I'm actually doing a live update about something that I made a whole video about, moving out of New York City, and we're back to square one. But you know what? I'm laughing because, you guys, to be quite honest, I've learned so much throughout these 2 years actually, and I've gained so much knowledge, I've gained so much experience, and you know, I honestly don't have any scripts or anything to look on. I didn't write down anything. I was just like, you know what, I want to just get on here and be the most authentic person that I possibly can. Because a lot of you have been on the journey with me. You guys have been here for years. I don't know you face by face, but I know your names. I see you guys comment sometimes, and you guys are just so supportive, and it's only right that I make a video about why I moved back to New York City. Before we get started, I just want to say that where I live right now, it is traffic central. Okay. It is traffic central, and you're probably gonna hear a lot of noise outside. But so if you hear, like I said, a little noise outside, the windows open, I have my fan off, and it is hot. Okay, girl. So sister girl gotta keep the windows open to get some kind of air going on. Life is not that serious for me. Well, life is just a journey. Life is an experience, and life is all about lessons. So you learn as you grow. Everyone is on their own individual journeys. So my journey is not gonna be your same journey. Granted, there are similar situations that happen, that occurs in our life, and you know, we feel like, all right, we can relate to certain people. At the end of the day, I feel like us as human beings, we were put into this box to where if you're not accomplishing certain things, or if you're not doing certain things at a certain age or at a certain time, or whatever time frame that people try to put things on, like that you're just failure, or you're just not this, or you're just not that, you know. So I just feel like everyone could bounce off of each other, and you know, and just maneuver to life through your own intuitive path. We all are on this journey in our own unique way, and there's a lot of things that I go through that a lot of you guys can relate to. There's a lot of things that other people go through that I can relate to. So, you know, I said, you know what, why not? Let me go ahead and share exactly what's the 411. So like I said, I don't really have things written down, and to be honest, I don't even know what the heck is about to spill out my mouth, but we gonna do this. Basically, my last 2 videos are very apparent that I am back in New York City. I have left Savannah, Georgia. When I first got to Georgia, there were some red flags. Okay, so there were some things that I did not like. If you've been following my journey, then you already know I have been growing spiritually, and I'm not gonna lie, I was tired of New York City. I am Jamaican, so when I came here from Jamaica, I've been in New York City basically all my life. I was in Long Island. I used to live in Long Island, and then I moved to Brooklyn when I was about 19 or 20 or something like that. Moved to Brooklyn on my own, and I fell in love with Brooklyn because I was hustling, and I just felt like I was able to connect more with the city lifestyle than I was in the suburban lifestyle. I gravitated towards Brooklyn because a lot of people were hustling in Brooklyn. So you have a lot of like hustler. Exactly what I said. There's a lot of hustlers in Brooklyn, you know, and it doesn't have to be illegal hustlers. There are a lot of just hustlers, period. You know, people create their own lanes, and you know, they're selling waters, and they're selling jewelry, or they're selling fruits, or they're selling a whole bunch of stuff, like, and that's what gravitated me towards Brooklyn. I realized I wasn't being judged when it comes to Brooklyn, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna move to Brooklyn. So I moved to Brooklyn, and I love Brooklyn. Throughout my life, I started to grow. It took me some years. I started to become spiritually aligned with myself, and I started to really do researches about the truth of life. And you know, to be honest, you guys, I'm gonna keep it all the way real. This did not start yesterday, okay? My journey started very, very young. I've always had a realization that something was off. And I remember this one specific person that was close to me. I'm not going to call any names, but this one specific person, it was a family member, and I would never forget. This family member always said to me that, you know, Chinny, that was my name. Like, a lot of my family call me Chinny. So they were like, you know, Chinny, like, you have to work hard in life for what you want. And it started from there. And I'm just like, that cannot possibly be life. So my interest grew and grew and grew throughout the years. And then I started really growing into my spirituality. I started growing spiritually, and I was like, wait, I started questioning a lot of things, right, about life. And I'm just like, this doesn't seem right. Why are we doing this? Like, why? So I questioned everything. Now I am here in Brooklyn, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing my thing. And then, you know, years, like I said, I started to really get in tune with myself. And I was going through a very rough patch in my life. So I was actually homeless before all of this happened. So I was homeless, living in hotels, and then I don't know what happened, what shifted within me, but I had an awakening. I had a spiritual awakening, and I had an epiphany about life. And I'm just like, you know, I came across this. Wait, it wasn't. I didn't read that book. I don't know if I read the book, but I always talk about this book. This book is called The Law of Attraction by Esther and Jerry Hicks. I'm not sure, because guys, to be honest, the way that I operate in life, I just go step by step in life. I don't let my situation dictate my future. So, you know, it's kind of hard for me to really go back sometimes, because I don't pay attention to the back. I only pay attention to the front. So I always try to gain knowledge and move forward. So anyways, I'm not sure if I read this book before or read this book after, but however, when I was homeless, I remember that I was in a hotel room, and I started really intentionally creating. So I started reading this book, like I said, Esther and Jerry Hicks book. And then what happened was I started to implement the things that they were telling me. And I started really doing the inner work. I started to really step into my power. I started to realize how powerful we are as human beings. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. I'm not going to get too detailed in this video, but I'm just trying to show you how everything led up to whatever it did. So anyways, I read that book, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, the book was basically telling me how powerful you are, and you can use your mind to attract things, and it's all about alignment and I'm just like, wow, this is interesting. It's so funny because, you know, I was never taught this. I literally, just like I said, stumbled across it. Nothing is by accident. I believe that everything was supposed to happen the way it was supposed to happen. So I read the book, and I'm just like, okay. So I remember vividly that detail for detail, I started to really like create, like, in my mind. Everything started in my mind. I'm just like, all right, I want this in my apartment. I want a certain rug in my apartment. I want my apartment to look a certain way. I wanted to have AC, detailed, guys, detail for detail. You hear me? And when I tell you, when I moved in, it was a room at the time I had in Queens. I had the room, and I got everything. I was like, holy shit. I was like, wow, I put it to the test. And then it all started from there. So after the room, I ended up I don't know how long I was in that room for, maybe about a year or something like that. But anyways, I ended up getting my apartment, so my own apartment. So when you rent a room, you're basically sharing with other people. So I ended up getting my own apartment, right? So I did the same thing with that apartment, and I manifested the exact same thing, you guys. So I was like, holy crap, this is like so amazing. But anyways, that's my little manifestation story. So moving forward now, when I was in the apartment for about 4 years. And when I say I actually felt so much at home in that apartment, I loved that apartment. But it had a few things that were not appeasing. And that was, it had mice in that apartment. It was a basement apartment. You know, in New York City, we have mice. To be honest, ever since I've been back, I have not really seen mice. You know, so yeah, I had mice in that apartment, but the apartment was like mine. I called it my home. I did everything. Like, did my shopping. I was excited. Like, I honestly, I had nothing, you guys, nothing, because the room that I had before was furnished, okay? So the room in Queens was furnished. It came with a furniture, it came with a bed, it came with an AC. I manifested all of that, you guys. So my apartment did not have that. So I had to really, you know, build myself up and take it little by little. And then little do you know, I had my dresser, I had all my furniture, I bought my bed, I bought just everything. And I started like just really making it my home. And then I started really getting in tune with it now. Started buying books, and I started like really reading and, you know, watching YouTube videos. When I tell you guys, I was so sunken in. This was the period when my spiritual awakening really tapped in. It was so crazy. It was honestly like scared because I was watching so many law of attraction videos and videos about life and your mindset and how your daily habits create things, and just basically personal development stuff to create, because everything is energy, and able to align your energy to attract what it is that you want in life and to create your life intentionally. And when I tell you I was sucked in, it scared the heck out of me. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. And I was like so intrigued because this was information that I did not know. And it's like, you can't blame, your upbringing, or you can't blame your family for not being able to tell you about these things, or schooling to teach you about these things, because this is the secret. The government and society wants to keep this from you because everything is beneficial, everything is profitable to them, and if you tap into your truest power, there's nobody to be controlled. There will be no jail systems. There will be, just everybody living the way that you were meant to live. You'll be eating correctly, and there won't be no GMO foods. Everything is basically made up. This is why I'm so grateful for YouTube. We're living in such an amazing era where we're able to really seek information, and it's up to you if you want to apply the information or not. If it resonates, great. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But it's just amazing because there's so much information that we need somebody else to tell us about this information, Otherwise, we would just not know. I was really growing, and I was learning, and I was like, wow. And then I never really liked the cold, and that I suffered with seasonal disorder in my younger years. Not so right now, I don't know why, but in my younger years, I was suffering with seasonal disorder. Basically, when the warm turns to cold, and then you're like depressed because your body is basically craving the warm weather. I was suffering from that, and I said, I never liked the cold because, like, I used to remember standing at the bus stop, and my hands, I had gloves on. I'm talking about like heavy duty gloves, not the little itty bitty $2, $5 gloves. I had heavy duty gloves on, and my hands were still getting frostbites, and I was like, I hated that. I hated the winter. So as I started growing, and I realized, I started really cultivating some routines and some healthy habits for myself. And then I started going, if you watch my videos before I left to Georgia, I was getting up around 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I loved it. I was so in tune with nature. The birds were chirping. I was listening to the songs the birds were singing, and I was just like, oh my gosh. I loved the warm. This was around COVID, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I have to move somewhere warm. So this is how I ended up in Savannah, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia kept coming to my mind. I said, all right, I'm going to take the inspired action. I hopped on a flight. I did my research before I left New York, and I said, you know what? Let me find out these apartments that I'm interested in. I applied for this place, ended up getting approved for it. Down south is so much different, okay? I ended up getting approved without a security deposit, okay? My credit was in the 7s and the high 7s, but I think you can get approved still in the 6, because it's nothing like New York, okay? Nothing. New York wants you to have this like unreachable amount of freaking credit score. It's unbelievable. I ended up getting approved. I had no deposit that I had to pay for this apartment. It was a brand new apartment, okay? No one lived in it before me. I was the first person. Everything was clean. And I was just like so grateful. I thought it was gonna be the move of my life. And little do I know, when I ended up getting there, because the main reason was to really expand my spirituality and my spiritual practices, and just to really evolve as a person. And that honestly did not happen. A balcony, and I really wanted the balcony to be my sacred space. Whenever I get up, I don't want to feel like somebody's looking at me. I just really wanted to be in my zone. I didn't read this. Maybe, I don't know if it was, not making up excuses, but like I said, it's past and gone. But what happened was, when I got to Georgia, I was like, okay, I want to get some stuff on the balcony, like to put up like a little screen save, like a screen protector, so that to ensure that I'm having my little sacred moment in the morning and nobody's looking at me. And then when I read the lease, I realized that I wasn't able to put that up. So that was a honestly something that really kind of sunk my spirit. In very short terms, I was just very uncomfortable. It wasn't what I intended it to be. it's just an adjustment. It's a very, very big adjustment coming from a big city to a smaller city. Also, my complex that I was living in, I loved it because, and I didn't want a party complex. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people smoking and drinking and playing music all times of the night when I'm trying to sleep, because I know I got to get up at 4 o'clock to do my personal development before I get my day started. So that was great. But like I said, it was just such an adjustment because it was so quiet. Y'all, it was so quiet, and I was just like, oh my gosh, because I'm used to noise in New York. And it's so funny because I was trying to get out of the noise, but because I think my mind is so used to it, I just wasn't connecting. I was basically just struggling with a lot of cultural. I went to Jamaica in 2019. I feel like that was in the back of my mind. I know it for a fact. I was trying to fill the Jamaica void in America, and that was not happening. I was trying to fill something that was never going to happen in America. And I just kind of just tried and tried and tried. Everything kept crumbling down. Remember when I was here in New York, I had that routine going. And in Georgia, I did not have the routine anymore. I had so many bills. But when I went there, I had to get a car, because in New York, you don't need a car. I had so many bills to pay. And I just felt like I didn't have time to continue what I started. You have to be deep rooted in your day-to-day habits. Habits activate something in your brain, and then it creates a pattern. So the patterns were not there anymore. So everything that I did to lead me up to my magic, to attract what I wanted, it came crumbling down. It came crumbling down because I had no time for myself. The lack and the broke mentality ain't gonna get you thriving mentality. Something that's consistent, a consistent routine, a consistent lifestyle, something that's fulfilling. You can't get that from a lack mentality. In order to stay up, you have to be consistent in your practices, because everything is coming from within you. You're constantly being bombarded with bills, things that really does not matter. Everything is made up. All this materialistic stuff, the cars, the clothes, the this, the that, all of this stuff is made up. All you have is really yourself, your spirit, your soul. That was my biggest lesson with this move. And I'm so grateful for it. I'm not ungrateful at all. I had my times when I was very upset, and I'm just like, damn, I want to get this under control, and I'm trying. But then when I realize I'm trying, that is not what's going to get you there. You have to go within yourself. I was just not aligned anymore. I was not on that frequency of receiving the desired outcome of my life. I was just not. So when I attracted my life to go to Georgia, I was on that frequency. I was in alignment, heavy in alignment. But when I got there, I got my car. I had this to pay. I had that to pay. It was so annoying. I'm just a bush lady. I love nature. I love being in the river. I love being by the water. I love eating fruits. I love simple life. I don't care for the cars and the big homes. The only reason why I got the car, to be honest with you, and if y'all follow me too about that, y'all would already know how much times I done told y'all I hate driving. But I had to get a car because in a state like that, you need a car. Especially I had nobody down there. I knew nobody, no friends, no family. I had no support. It was just me. Let's talk about the mobile home. I was reading some of the comments, and I realized that a lot of you guys actually thought that the mobile home I bought it. But maybe I worded it wrong, but that wasn't my intention at all. To be honest, the mobile home had potential, but I realized as soon as I moved in. All right, you guys, so as I was recording, my camera died. So here I am just finishing up the video and telling you guys exactly what happened. So when I moved in the mobile home, which is also called a trailer, I realized that there were some like little flying roaches all over in the mobile home. And to be honest, the whole time I was there, I did not even turn the lights off to go to bed because it was so bad. When I tell you, I was literally killing about 10 to 20 roaches per day. It was so infested, and older mobile homes like that also have critters that can seep into the cracks and come into the house. So it was just very uncomfortable, and like I said, things were just not working out the way that I intended it to work out. So I just said, you know what? That was it. Like, I knew that was it. So anyway, and also the mobile home was super, super affordable, you guys. I was only paying $650 a month. That is such a difference between Georgia and New York, specifically in Savannah. And it's just like so crazy because I basically had a whole house to myself. Like, and in New York, you can't even find a room for $600 a month anymore. So, I really love that aspect of down in the South because it was just really affordable. However, I feel like having lack of support is really what I needed. And it got rough. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat things. It definitely got rough. And yeah, so basically, like I said, everything happens for a reason. And it's so crazy, you guys, because I cannot believe it's been almost a year since I've been back in New York. Like, wow, time really flies. But things happen for a reason, and I take the lessons out of everything, and I can now apply those new experiences to my life, and that is the most that I'm grateful for, to be honest. So it doesn't really matter, how I felt not being there and trying and things not working out. At the end of the day, I learned a few valuable lessons, and yeah, so yes, I am back in New York and I am the most happiest here. I don't have too much strain on my back as I did in Georgia, and I'm just like, that was my main thing. Everyone lives live their life the way that they want to live their life and do whatever makes them happy. But for me, like I said, I rather simple life. I don't want to have a strain on my back with unnecessary stuff that I don't need. And I'm just grateful that I'm in a space right now that I am able to just really get back to me, get back to what I was building before, my routines, and I'm just looking forward to creating more magic in my life, And once again, you guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I truly appreciate you guys, and I hope my story could really inspire some of you. And if you're going through a rough patch in your life right now, just always remember that the sun has to come out and shine again. All right. So I know it could be hard. I know it could be very annoying and frustrating, but listen, life is a journey. It's a very unique journey. Everyone is different. Just enjoy the process. Okay. And just know that God has your back always, and everything is always working out for you, and things has to get better. All right. So thank you so much for watching the video, you guys. I love you so much, and I'll see you again in my next one.